Yes?
I did not ask for coffee.
Burudika kidogo tu.
What do you want?
Sitaki kitu. Nakuja ni maslahi yako tu.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if you had a heavy lunch, you need coffee to stay awake. Unlike people like me who had airbaggers.
I knew it.
Take it easy. Enjoy it.
Ambrose?
Yeah.
I'd like to buy you lunch one of these days.
Uta afford kweli?
What do you mean?
Sijali. Sijali.
Mwako and Company, good morning.
Give this to the private when he comes in.
Joe, I was waiting for you. I needed to speak to you about something.
Okay. Whatever it is, it can wait. Okay.
Are they ready to talk? Find out in a minute. Have you made a decision?
How many times do we have to tell you this? We work alone.
Knowing very well that the evidence against you is...
Yes, we know we could go to jail for a minimum of 10 years.
But you can reduce it to 3 years if you cooperate with the police.
No.
Harold?
No.
Okay.
Carlos.
All rise. The matter of State versus Frank Livito and Harold Mapato on 2 counts of kidnapping, the court is in session.
Your Honor, this is a simple case. Simple and straightforward. Adam Latewa and his wife, Betty Latewa, were kidnapped at gunpoint from their car right in front of their house. They were held hostage for 48 hours before a ransom demand of 10 million shillings was made by the kidnappers. The money had to be raised by Adam Latewa's business associates. But the kidnappers were no match to the cunning and heroic actions of the police. They were arrested and the Latewas were rescued. We will hear from the police and witnesses. They will provide irrefutable evidence. We will prove the case.
The truth is, these 2 gentlemen here, in the dock, are victims of being at the wrong place and at the wrong time. They were within the neighborhood, without being aware that there's a man and his wife being held hostage for ransom. So, they were arrested. Now, can Adam Latewa prove that these 2 men are his captors? No. Can his wife, Betty Latewa, do the same? No, she can't. She can't at all. They don't even know how they looked like. They don't even know how many they were. So how do we know for sure that Frank Livito and Harold Mapato are the kidnappers? Who can positively ID these two? No one. All we have, Your Honor, is the police's word that these are the kidnappers just because they were in the presence when they were conducting the raid. And that raises questions of reasonable doubt. And we will prove that it does.
Officer Chris Kiliwa, you are in charge of the kidnapping division at Central Police.
That is correct.
Why is there a kidnapping crime division at Central Police?
Because of the dramatic rise of kidnapping cases, we needed to set up a special officers whose role was solely to deal with and arrest the criminals. Furthermore, we realized that the kidnappers were working in cartels.
Just like in the drug business?
Yes. And because they were operating in cartels, there was need for us to have specialized units.
Okay. So on the 17th of May, you got a visit from one of Adam Latewa's associates, Mr. Halley.
Yes.
Informing you of the kidnapping of Adam and his wife.
Yes. The kidnapping took place 2 days before. The security officers who were manning the gate were witness to it. Mm-hmm. The kidnappers took off. They drove off with the victim's Range Rover Sport. The car was later found abandoned in the river without a trace of either Betty or Adam.
Was it a kidnapping case then?
No. It was believed to be a carjacking ordeal. 48 hours after they went missing, something was amiss.
When the associate approached you, had he been contacted by the kidnappers?
Yes, he was. A phone call was made to his cell phone, and a ransom demand of 10 million was made.
Why? Why did he approach you, knowing pretty well that he was putting the lives of his friends in danger?
Mr. Halley could only manage to raise 5 million. A week prior, he had heavily invested in the bonds business, and his cash flow was down to 2 million. He managed to raise more money from his friends. He was confronted with a catch-22 situation. If he were to give the 5 million to the kidnappers, yet their demand was 10 million, his friends would be dead. If he were to come to us, his friends would still be dead. He decided to come to us. And of course, both Betty and Adam are safe.
Good job, officer.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Tell us how you did it.
The money was to be delivered along Uru Highway, which was the drop-off point. We decided to use the 5 million to buy us time. With greed, we believed that the kidnappers would stall. They would then threaten the victims, waiting for the other 5 million to be delivered.
We're listening.
With that, we were very sure we had a little window of time to act. This money was placed in a bag. And the bag was attached with a tracking device.
A mobile tracking device to get to the money and where the people were.
And that is exactly what it did. At around 2 a.m., the money was delivered. Later on, it was collected. And within a short while, we tracked this amount of money to some house in Dandora. Upon realizing that the money was stationary, we made a swift and accurate raid in the house, where we found these men in the dock.
And the Latewas, where were they?
They were also there. They had been blindfolded, tied, and they were locked up in another room. We had to call for an ambulance and rush them to the hospital.
So Frank Levito and Harold Mapato were in the same house where the victims, Adam Latewa and the wife, were held. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is it possible, therefore, as the defense attempts to argue, that they were unaware of the kidnapped victims in the house?
That is not true. The one who picked the money, or both, were the kidnappers.
Thank you. Thank you, officer.
You know, as I listened to your impressive narration, I couldn't help but notice that you didn't say that you retrieved the 5 million shillings. I didn't hear that. I mean, at the back of my mind, I was asking myself a question. Where is the cash? Where did the 5 million shillings disappear to?
Mwako and Company, good morning. This is Lee speaking. How can I help you?
Same old boyfriend. Unataka kumuona?
Why am I not surprised? So it has come to this, huh?
What are you doing here?
I wouldn't be here if you weren't ignoring my calls.
Bruce, can you get him some...
Coffee black.
Can you get him some coffee? Black. You did not have to come here.
You gave me no choice.
I will get you your money.
Your debt was due 3 months ago. The interest alone has grown to 150K. Now you tell me, how do you propose to pay 350K on a meager salary of a receptionist? You led me to believe that you're a lawyer, yet all you do is answer calls.
How I make my money is none of your business.
Oh no, babes, you're dead wrong. When you owe me 350,000, how you make your money is my business. Your home is my business. Your job, your assets, your everything. Until you pay me what you owe me.
God, I regret the damage.
You will regret more if you don't pay me soon. Thanks for the coffee that never came. Next time, I'll come to your apartment. Have a blessed day.
Coffee. Amanda. Oh, bad luck.
Now, officer, those 5 million shillings in a sports bag that had a mobile tracking device attached to it. 2 hours later, you conduct a raid. My clients are arrested. Adam and Betty are saved. But you do not mention where the 5 million shillings went to.
It was not retrieved.
It just vanished.
It was not retrieved.
Okay. Did you find the bag in the house that you raided in Dandora?
Yes.
Did you find the mobile tracking device in the bag?
Yes. It was in the hidden compartment.
Meaning you didn't find the money in the bag?
No.
Interesting. Very interesting. Because there seems to be some sort of exchange between the time of the raid and the time of the drop. And that is the raid at the hideout. Now, are you sure that between the time of the pickup and the time of the raid, the money was not dropped to the kidnappers, the real kidnappers who are not in court with us here today?
I can say with certainty that the men we arrested were the real kidnappers.
Okay, you say so. But still, you have not answered my question. Where did the 5 million shillings vanish to?
I don't know.
Maybe you took it.
Objection! How dare you?
Hey, you knew there was money in the bag. You knew the bag had a tracking device, right? I mean, you're the one who suggested that the money to be tracked.
I did not take the money.
You took 2 hours. 2 hours to conduct the raid when you should have taken 20.
Objection, Your Honor.
I was still investigating.
Yeah, maybe planning a theft. 5 million shillings? Come on, that's a good payday.
Enough, Kairu.
Your Honor, 5 million shillings cannot just vanish into thin air. There's something he is not telling us. There's something.
Objection!
Nothing, Father.
Mr. Adam Latewa.
Well, please call me Adam.
Adam? Adam, please tell this court the events that took place on the day of your kidnapping.
Well, I remember it was 17th of May, Wednesday. Wednesdays are usually my days out with my wifey, Betsy. Those are the days we go out and have dinner and do any other interesting thing that we may find out there.
I see.
Well, we came back at our usual time, that is midnight. And we drove up to the gate, and just around the time we were waiting for the gate to be opened, I heard a gun click next to my head. The cold metal touched my head. Suddenly I felt like I wanted to speed off. Then I noticed that a gun was being held against my wife's head. Oh, the man who was on my side commanded us to go to the rear of the car. They jumped into the car and sped off with us. Well, our faces were covered with pieces of clothes. We were tied up, and then guns were held against our heads.
For how long were you driven?
Oh, I don't know. It looked like a lifetime. You know, all I remember is that we were taken through a very rough roads, and then the vehicle came to a stop. Then we were hauled into another vehicle. Then we were driven for another like 2 hours. Then the vehicle stopped next to a house, and we were locked in one of the rooms in the house.
Were you locked up in the same room as your wife?
Yes. Oh, it was horrible. Terrible. The room was dark. All the windows were covered from outside, and not even a single ray of light could get into that room. Well, we did not know what time it was, well, where we were, or even what they wanted to do with us. And I remember at one time, food and water was tossed to us through some opening at the door. And I guessed it must have been around, I don't know, morning. But, well, I don't know. I didn't have the idea.
For how long were you held?
I don't know. We had lost sense of time. All I remember is that at one time, they gave me a phone to talk to my friend Harley. And that was all. After a long wait, we had some policemen break into the house and then into the room where we were locked in, and then we were rescued. That's all.
There is the question of the 5 million shillings. Tell us about that.
5 million shillings. I don't care. 5 million. What is 5 million compared to our lives? 5 million is nothing. Nothing. All that I cared about was the safety of my family. Nothing.
Yes? Did you call me?
How far back do they run?
2 years.
That's not good enough. I need 3 years. Get me the rest.
Sure, but I have other assignments to do.
Get me the 3rd year.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Mwako.
Hello. Takara, how's your internship?
Good.
Just good?
Very good. They give me no time to rest.
That's very good. Elsie?
She's buried deep in it.
And what about you? How are you doing?
Fine. A good thing you asked. I needed some sit time. I needed some clarification on building contracts and some agreements with some corporates.
Very good. Why don't you compile them? Then we can have that sit down. First thing tomorrow morning.
Perfect.
Good. Elsie? Elsie?
Oh, sorry, Mwako. I didn't realize.
When was the last time you took a day off?
What?
Take it. Rest. Go home. You look beat.
Right after I'm done.
Now, you are of no use to this farm in your current state.
Tell us, Adam Latewa.
Please, Adam will do.
Okay, Adam. Were you able to recognize the faces of these two men?
Never. Not even a glimpse.
Then what makes you so sure that it's actually those two men at the dock there?
Well, they were arrested in the same house that we were locked in.
What if they were also kidnapped victims?
The policemen don't think so, neither do I.
No, speak for yourself.
Well, I don't know. I don't think so. Otherwise, they would have been locked in the same room where we were.
Was the house one bedroom?
I don't know.
Well, the kidnappers called one of your business associates.
Mr. Haji.
Yes, Mr. Hali. Yes. And they demanded 10 million shillings.
Yes, that is true.
Out of all your associates, how many do you have that would have gotten 10 million shillings in 10 hours? In a few hours?
Mr. Harley is one of them, and I believe there are 10 or so out there.
Do you have any idea why they chose Mr. Harley?
I have no idea.
Is he your closest associate?
Well, quite to the contrary. We used to do business with Mr. Harley there before, but these days we don't communicate so much.
Really? And yet he was the one they chose to call?
Mr. Harley is the kind of person one can always rely upon.
Do you have any idea of how they managed to acquire Mr. Harley's cell phone number?
Well, I guess it must have been from my phone. No, I'm sorry. My phone was found in the car that was abandoned somewhere. It must have been my wife's phone or something like that.
Well, Mrs. Latewa, I shouldn't be doing this. Pardon me, Your Honor. Was your mobile phone also stolen by the kidnappers?
No, it was found in the abandoned car.
So, Mr. Latewa, how do you explain how the kidnappers got your not too close associate's personal mobile number?
Well, I don't know. I guess, I suppose they just did their homework.
Probably so. And it doesn't bother you that they actually chose an old associate, an old friend of yours?
Well, not in the least.
It doesn't bother you that 5 million shillings just vanished into thin air?
Not at all.
I mean, yeah. Of course, because the thing that mattered to you was the safety of your wife.
Yes.
Nothing further.
All right. Joe Kairu, you may call in your witness.
You did well, honey.
Thank you very much.
Kairu, call your witness. Joe Kairu.
Yes, Your Honor.
Call in your witness.
Of course.
Joe, is there a problem?
Actually, yes.
Which is?
I'm not sure yet.
All right then. The court will take a 15-minute recess and we...
No.
No?
It is not necessary. My problem will not be solved with that 15-minute recess.
Sure.
I'd like to call Betty Latewa to the stand.
What?
I'd like to call Betty Latewa to the stand.
As your witness?
Yes.
Are you out of your mind?
Your Honor, indulge me, please.
And why should I?
It will be clear the moment she takes up to the stand.
I object, Your Honor. This is an ambush. I clearly do hope you know what you're doing.
Yes, Your Honor. A mysterious man came into this court and gave a note to Mrs. Latewa.
And at what point did this happen?
When I was cross-examining her husband.
Oh, this is preposterous.
Your Honor, I saw a man walk into this court during proceedings and handed over a note to Mrs. Latewa, which I believe she has put in her handbag.
Even if it were true, what business does it have to do with this case?
Well, I have to agree with Mr. Kairu. Leave Mrs. Latewa alone.
Your Honor, that man and these two men exchanged looks to show as if they know each other.
So?
5 million is missing.
What is your obsession with this 5 million about?
We find the 5 million, we find the kidnappers.
Those are the kidnappers.
Can you identify them? Can you positively and affirmatively identify the kidnappers? Your Honor,
I certainly do hope you know what you're doing.
I hope so too.
In that case, Mrs. Betty Latewa, please take to the witness stand.
No, what in the world is this? I mean, I am the victim. I was kidnapped. For God's sake.
Honey, please just do it. Let us not have more drama here. Please, just do it. Go.
Don't forget your handbag.
Objection, Your Honor. Her privacy is being invaded.
The act occurred in this courtroom, Your Honor, and I'm sure the note has everything to do with this case that we have right now in this court.
He is clutching at straws.
Your Honor, I need that bag.
Court bailiff.
Circles, 1998, 2004. Oh God, thank you. It's like you read my mind. Thanks. Is that one for me too?
No. Cyrus, you're not at your desk when I came in. Thought you need some.
No, thanks. But I don't take coffee in the afternoon unless it is decaf.
Oh.
Thanks anyway.
Okay.
The note?
There is no note.
Object, Your Honor.
My God, this is lunacy.
Pass me the note.
Betty, you have to remember that you're in a court of law. Can you please take this note and read it aloud?
Oh my God, I don't understand this.
Mr. Latewa, keep quiet.
Take the note and read it aloud. All right, Your Honor, I will read it. You have 2 hours to pay the 5 million shillings or else we expose the truth.
What truth is this? Truth?
Betty?
What truth?
Betty, tell the court the truth right now.
Oh, honey, what is this?
You gave me no other choice.
What is happening? Are you up to all this?
Adam, for 4 years of marriage, the only time I ever knew I had a husband was on Wednesdays. Wednesdays from 9 p.m. to midnight. The other nights you were with Rachel, Tiffany, perhaps Bilha.
Oh my God.
Should I go on? There was Terry, Jackie.
So, you did it because of these women. You know very well that they meant nothing to me. You've been my wife all this long, you know. I did all that I could for you. I was available for you all the time.
Pauline, Olivia. I mean, Adam, there was always someone else. It's like I was never enough for you.
Okay. Fine. These are things that we discuss. We don't go kidnapping people.
Well, now you know how it feels to be helpless. To be at someone else's mercies. Now you know how I felt when you were never at home at night. Adam, I was unsafe. I was unsure.
Oh my God.
I needed something, anything to bring you back. Now you love me. Ever since the kidnapping, you spent each and every night with me. Now you value me, you treasure me. I mean, you love me, don't you?
Baby.
Adam, baby, please understand.
Well, in light of this development, I want to find out, were the two of you contacted by Betty Latewa to carry out the kidnapping of herself and her husband?
Yes.
And why didn't you mention this earlier? Obviously, there are others out there. Who are they? Officer Kiliwa?
Yes, Your Honor.
This case isn't closed. The partners and possibly the masterminds behind this kidnapping are still out there. Now find them and bring them to justice.
Yes, Your Lordship.
And I also urge you to reopen this case and investigate it entirely afresh. Do not leave any stone unturned.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, I am ready to render my verdict.
Your Honor, with the confirmation that Mrs. Latewa hired these men to kidnap her and husband, I'd like to ask for a lighter sentence.
No. They refuse to cooperate with the police in the investigations.
But who would believe them?
But there are other parties involved in this, and they're still out there. Now, as you know, the police said they work in teams. Now, Harold Mapato, I find you guilty of 2 counts of kidnapping. Frank Livito, I also do find you guilty of 2 counts of kidnapping. And I hereby sentence both of you to 15 years imprisonment for both counts.
15 years?
Yes, you had your chance to reduce the sentence, but you blew it. Mrs. Betty Latewa, you are being held for organizing the kidnap of you and your husband. The hearing of your case will be set on another date. This court is hereby adjourned.
All right.
Can I have a word?
Yes, of course.
That was quite a case. What did you think of the accused?
Well, everybody has his day, so I guess that was their day.